Hey guys, welcome back to another one. This is going to be a comparison video between Theta Labs and the Livepeer network. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channels. You can find me on YouTube and Theta TV. So in this one, as you know, I have a lot of videos about Theta, so I will do my best to be as objective as possible and just state the facts. I will not lean towards favoritism or anything like that between the two companies. There's a lot of good about them, and they both are doing great things for the overall decentralized video streaming ecosystem. So we will delve right into it. First, just a little bit of an overview for Theta and then Livepeer. So what is it? How does it work? This is straight from Kraken. It's a good beginner's guide. They both do very similar things. They both point out content delivery networks. They are good in the sense that's how we get our video streams, but it's also bad because it is a bottleneck and also very expensive. So Theta allows, its global pool of users to relay videos by offering spare bandwidth, and that's pretty much in summary what it's doing. It's using a bunch of little nodes or laptops, computers, and just using the extra bandwidth that you have to relay video streams. So that is Theta in a network and a nutshell. And then Livepeer, on the other hand, also very similar, does very similar things. And you can see they talk about, using excess bandwidth. They also point out that 80% of global internet usage is from video. So that's pretty awesome. And they want to disrupt the video transcoding market by giving broadcasters access to, thousands of distributed processors. And that brings the cost down. It makes it easier for everyone. And once again, it's decentralized, which is great. So you don't have to, just work with a couple companies who can price gouge because it is very expensive. And the big difference there is Livepeer is just a transcoder. Theta, on the other hand, it does a little bit more with the roles of storage, transcoding, a little bit of CDN. So it does a little bit of a jack of all trades, if you will. So checking out the development team or the leadership team between the two, there's Mitch Liu, who's the co-founder and CEO currently. He's the co-founder of Theta TV and a couple other things, as you can see here. He's got a BS in computer science and engineering from MIT, and then MBA as well. And then there's J.E. Long, once again, another co-founder and CTO, and super smart dude, PhD in computer engineering, and he's developed a lot of stuff for virtual reality, and that was a couple years ago. So they were developing, they were finding solutions for problems that didn't even really exist in the mainstream yet, and they still really don't, which is pretty exciting as well. So these problems will come up soon. So those are the leadership team for Theta. And if we head over to Livepeer, we have Doug Petkanix, and also a very smart dude. He has created a bunch of things in the past. He even created a company that was acquired by Groupon in February 2012. So that's one member. The other member is Eric Tang, and if we check out this website right here, he grew up in Beijing, came to the U.S. when he was 16. He's a software engineer, also very smart dude, and he's an entrepreneur. Learned about Ethereum in 2016, and it kind of just took off from there. All right, so delving into what is Livepeer, what is Theta, we will start off with Livepeer. If you go to their website, there's a 10-minute primer. It does a pretty good job of explaining exactly what it is. So I'll just kind of skip down to, the what is, who does what. And there's two key actors for Livepeer. There are the orchestrators and the delegators. So the orchestrators, these guys are the transcoders, as the best way to look at it. It takes a little bit of technical know-how in order to get here, but in Livepeer, anyone can join the network and become an orchestrator, but you need to know how to use all of your computer's resources and a little bit of coding as well, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The delegators, on the other hand, are the token holders. They can participate in the network by staking their tokens towards orchestrators who they believe are doing good and honest work. So your stake becomes locked up for a short period of time, and then you can either take it back afterwards, or you can continue staking. So if we check out their website for Livepeer, this is the top orchestrators right now. So you can kind of just go through here, do your due diligence, and then choose your favorite orchestrator, stake to them, and you can earn rewards that way. And then fun fact, the Livepeer rewards, they're not paid out in LPT tokens, they're actually paid out in Ethereum. So that is a good benefit. But like I was saying, in order to do this, it actually takes a little bit of technical know-how, and you have to run code. You have to do quite a bit. There are some tutorials out there, but check it out. That's like an hour's worth of tutorials just to, become an orchestrator and know how to do it. So a little bit time consuming, a little bit harder, some barriers to entry right there. The Theta network, on the other hand, I think it's a little bit easier, and I will explain why. So in summary, the Theta network can be summarized between validators, guardians, and then edge nodes. The guardians, or the validators, excuse me, they propose and finalize new blocks. The guardians seal the blockchain by signing, and then the edge nodes, or your nodes, are your worker bees. So they're doing the data delivery, the transcoding, the storage in the future. So that's kind of how it is summarized. And then if we check out the website right here, you can see there's a bunch of edge nodes, and that's how we're able to do the peer-to-peer delivery service. The Guardian nodes, there's not as many of them, and they're just kind of backing up and making sure the enterprise validator nodes are doing everything correctly. And the enterprise validator nodes, on the bright side for Theta, there are some big names. So they're Google, Sony, Samsung, CAA, etc., etc. And then the barrier to entry for both the edge nodes and the guardian nodes are much, much lower for the Theta side. All you have to do is, download for Windows, download for Mac OS, and it's just like downloading a video game. So it's really easy in order to join the network. So that definitely has Theta as the clear winner there for ease of the barriers to entry. So now if we go over to the tokenomics a little bit, we'll talk about Livepeer first. And if we check it out, the current price is $36.26, but that doesn't mean too much. The more important thing is checking out the market cap. So the market cap is about $767 million, so a little bit less than $1 billion, which is pretty good. The circulating supply right now is a little over 21 million LPT tokens. And as we can see, the price has been pretty stable. They did have a big run up with some news we'll talk about, and then it's kind of stabilized again with the market kind of doing a flash crash a little bit. The token itself, so it is not supposed to be intended to be a medium of exchange, even though it can be used as that. So broadcasters use Ethereum to broadcast videos on the network, and like I said, you get paid with ETH for doing so. And then the token distribution, it's a proof of stake, a delegated proof of stake algorithm. There is inflation with the LPT tokens, and it's pretty slick. They try and keep around 50% of the LPT staked at all times, and in order to do that, it's it changes daily. So if it's more than 50% staked, the inflation drops, and if there's less than 50% stake, the inflation increases. So it's just a kind of fancy way to say algorithmically how they do that. All right, so moving on to Theta. Theta, on the other hand, price right now is $4.15, and I also have to cover TFUEL as well because it's part of the Theta ecosystem currently. Right now, the market cap is $4.1 billion, so about 4 to 5 times more than what Livepeer is, and there is a max supply of 1 billion tokens, so there's never going to be any more than that. As we know, Theta has kind of peaked back in the springtime frame, and then it's kind of been in a downtrend since then. TFUEL, very similar. The market cap right now is $1 billion, slightly above where Livepeer is, and this is the utility token on the Theta network. The Theta coin is the governance token. Don't think I mentioned that before. And The max supply, it is inflationary, so there is no current max supply to TFUEL right now. And it's kind of similar to Theta. It peaked in the spring/summer, and then it's kind of, been falling with every other crypto currently. The overview for how it works, kind of talked about that, but in order to stake, because it is a proof of stake chain, you need at least 1,000 Theta to stake to become a Guardian node. You need 2 million Theta to become a validator node, or you need 10,000 TFUEL to stake to become an elite edge node. So that is how the proof of stake works for the Theta token. And kind of like I said before, TFUEL is inflationary, so it can be at highest 9% if you look at the mainnet 3.0, which is kind of high. So moving on into the bread and butter for both Theta and Livepeer, and that is videos streaming. So how can you do this? How do they get businesses on board? And that's the Theta Video API, which is the easiest way to do that. If we check out the pricing, we can see here it is very, very cheap compared to your normal CDNs. And then if you compare that to Livepeer, this is their bread and butter. It looks like, comparing the two, Livepeer is slightly cheaper right now, and that's just because the only thing you have to currently pay for is transcoding. Streams via CDN, it's free right now with the asterisk. They're not charging for these features currently. And then multi-streaming is currently also free. So because of that, I think Livepeer is slightly cheaper, but in the future when they start charging for this, I think Theta will take the cake there. And then also to be note, like I said, Livepeer is only strictly live streaming right now, but it does look like in the future they potentially, could partner with Filecoin, and if they ever do video on demand, there's already a third-party application, third-party company who, is utilizing both Livepeer protocol and Filecoin for storage. So that is something that I could see happening in the future. And then another thing of note for Livepeer, they also have a grayscale trust. And this is how institutions can buy the Livepeer token, which does give the token itself a small advantage on top of Theta, because Theta, which we'll talk about right now, it's very hard to buy on the exchanges. If you check out Livepeer, it's on Binance, it's on Crypto.com, Coinbase, KuCoin, all of the normal popular exchanges that we can get here in the US. Sorry, I'm a little biased here. But if we look at Theta, it is very hard for us in the US to buy it. We have Binance, which we can't use in the US, KuCoin, which we can. A lot of people don't understand it. Crypto.com, that's not true. There's only TFUEL on Crypto.com. So it's very hard to get the Theta coin. TFUEL, on the other hand, you can get it on Crypto.com. So it's a little bit easier to buy, but that is also something that I would take Livepeer over Theta, just because of the grayscale trust and the ease of purchasing it with Coinbase and Crypto.com. It's a little bit easier. The last little bit I wanted to talk about is, what has happened in the past and the future for both Livepeer and Theta. If we check it out, Theta does really focus on the NFTs. A lot of people have given them slack about it, but it's brought in, Katy Perry, and in the future it'll continue to bring in future media artists and celebrities. So it is something that they are focusing on heavily, but it is something that the users have requested of them, and it has been very, very successful for them. They also have the Theta Drop token coming in the future, which is the liquidity mining token and governance token for Theta Drop, so this website. So that is the future for 2022. Also, Theta has been, getting more partners to utilize their services, which is pretty awesome to see. They're smaller partners right now, but in the future, this could easily become, bigger and bigger partners. Hopefully, the culmination of it would be a Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu starting to use Theta services. But currently we have Fuse, and then more recently we have Junkin Media, which announced their partnership recently. Also, Theta is also partnered with Decentraland and Decentral Games, so a lot of the video streaming for casinos and concerts in Decentraland in particular, that is done with Theta. Also, Theta is recently getting DeFi as well. So you can see that through VoltSwap. It's a third-party decentralized exchange where you can do some yield farming and other DeFi activities on the Theta network. So there is a lot happening with Theta in the currently and in the future as well, continuing to build those partnerships, continuing to build on DeFi. They're implementing, purchasing NFTs with USDC and other things like that. So they are continuing to build pretty aggressively. Livepeer, on the other hand, they are continuing as well. What they are looking at doing right now is upgrading their protocol. They want to move to a Ethereum layer 2 solution, so that will significantly reduce the gas fees for anyone interacting with the Livepeer network. So that is going to take a bit of time, but it's definitely a much needed upgrade to the Livepeer network. Also, Livepeer did have a couple firsts, even though Theta, they will do this in the future with Katy Perry concerts. Livepeer technically was the first one to work with other companies, and they made a video NFT based off of a live concert, which is pretty slick. I do like it a lot, and that is something that we should see more of here soon. And then also they did host, a couple hackathons, and they will continue to, work with other companies. So there's Filecoin, once again, Livepeer, and other companies that they are working together just to continue to build the network out. And like I said, Livepeer and Glass, they co-hosted Collide, which was the first ever live concert with a live audience NFT minting. And this is something that I do like that Livepeer is doing. They're not trying to build everything in-house. So they are working with other companies like Glass to create their NFTs. So they don't necessarily need to create a Theta drop or a Livepeer drop. It seems like they are going to partner with other companies in order to make everything happen. So if they can continue to do that, I think Livepeer could be on the trajectory to, potentially catch up with, where Theta is. They could partner with Filecoin and not only have their video streaming but video storage with Filecoin. They could partner with Glass to, create these live NFTs. Not something that they have to do themselves. So I think little bits of news will continue to accelerate the price of Livepeer. And like I said, Livepeer is about a fourth to a fifth the market cap of where Theta is. So there definitely is a lot of room to grow. Theta, on the other hand, it is larger than Livepeer. It still has quite a large market cap, but with the new partners, and they're continuing to get partners with the NFT drops using Theta drop, and all of the other partnerships and ways that Theta is expanding in the future, I do think that Theta does take the cake. Both of these companies, they were started in the same year, 2017. So I think Theta has utilized their partnerships and their technology a little bit better than Livepeer currently. Not to say that Livepeer can't catch up, but I think I have to give it to Theta Network. So once again, if you like this content, I know this was a bit of a longer video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.